Hello and welcome to The Wicked Truth. Um, Today I wanted to talk to you about a special subject, but before we get to that, I wanted to give you a preview of a book I want to review soon. It's called Dead Companies Walking by Scott Fearon. It's about a guy who in the 80s got into the game of short selling companies and started a hedge fund and made a lot of money and has a lot of insight into um, what business and finance is really all about. And it's a fairly unique insight from a book that I've seen. So I hope you like it. That's going to come soon. What I wanted to talk to you today about is that little dirty word called politics. That word that no one wants to get near. Well, at least I don't. Um, um, and that's actually why I called my channel The Wicked Truth, because the truth is kind of dangerous, and we all know what happens to people who get too close to the truth. And in that sense, the truth is a little wicked. So, so that's the sly reason behind the name of my channel. Not that I want to get into too much of that, but what I actually wanted to talk to you about is exactly what politics, well, not exactly, but what is politics and why we need it and what's happening in society right now. So before we get into politics in the general, I think the general is actually quite boring. So let's get into the particular about how I got into it and what it means to me, and perhaps you can abstract out what it means to you from that. Um, I grew up like your regular kind of kid, MTV kind of generation. I had no idea about politics. I had no interest in it. I was more interested in music and computer games, sports, pretty regular kind of person. When I arrived in London in 1997 or 1998 or end of 1997, and uh, things continued pretty much normal until I finished college. I didn't read much. I used to be out and about, going to parties and you know, just generally enjoying myself until I have to thank the Westminster Council. I started working at the Westminster Council. And the long and short of it, I don't want to say anything too bad about the Westminster Council right now, but let's just say I didn't get challenged much. And that's not inherent in the council work, it's just that I was in the traffic department, and for one reason or the other, my boss just did not want to give me any work. I'd ask for it, and after some time, I got really fed up of not getting any work and literally twiddling my thumbs at a desk doing nothing. So I bumped into the good works of Noam Chomsky. And that's how I actually, or is it Noam Chomsky? I'll call him Noam Chomsky for now. And that's how I really got into this game. It kind of changed my life and sent me into, again, I don't want to use that word depression, but sent me into at least 10 years or more, maybe 15 years of a real kind of depression in which at the end of it, I thought I was going mad. And it took me quite a shift, a turn uh, by a very old gentleman who saved me, who led me to realize it wasn't me who was going mad, but the world was mad, and I wasn't able to fathom it at the time. So those days are over, but for about 15 out of, you could say I may have been an adult now for 18 years. I could call myself an adult. And of those 18 years, maybe 15 of them I was on the left. And in the last three, I've shifted quite strongly to the right. And part of the reason I wanted to talk about politics with you guys is not because there isn't enough channels on YouTube about politics and enough commentary on politics. It's to describe this change and shift from left to right and how it happens or happened to me, and what I've observed along the way. And seeing certain posts, I had a friend I respect fairly recently post. I think it was either on Instagram or on Facebook post "fuck the right," and I'm now a member of the right, even though I don't strictly see it. But I think if I'm going to be honest about it, I'm more right than I'm left. Um, and we'll talk about what that actually means and whether it means what people normally mean those words to mean. I think it's all got a bit muddled recently, and we have a chance to redefine what we're talking about. And this is my attempt to do that. So I hope you can stick around and actually follow me along on a little journey, and hopefully we can get somewhere with it and we can discuss it in the comments later on. Please subscribe again, because subscriptions actually motivate me when I see subscriptions coming through. So I'd really like it if you can pass it on to your friends and say that you've got a buddy that they might want to listen to. And there is a small celebration. I reached 10 subscribers today. 10. Woohoo! So I'm out of the single digits into the double. Now we're looking for 100. So I'd love if you can help me along with that. Okay, so let's get back to how it all began. So I was sitting at my desk day after day, getting bored as bored as one possibly can be. So I started surfing the net, and I came across a news site or a news magazine. It was called znet.org at the time. I don't think it exists anymore. I've tried to find it. And it was filled with the most far left-wing articles. People like Howard Zinn, Vandana Shiva, Noam Chomsky, and I forget other names, but there were a lot, and I read a lot. 10 hours a day at work. I think at that time, so by about 98, 99 when I left the council, 2001 to 2002, maybe late 2002 when I left the council, I must have read every single word written by Noam Chomsky and a lot of other writers. So when I talk about the left, I really know these guys, their intellectual positions deeply. I read almost everything written, Naomi Klein, everything written, maybe a few years after that, till maybe 2010, maybe about 2012, 2000, or till 2015, maybe even. It became less towards the later years, but I spent a significant part of my life studying what they wrote about, what they were frustrated about inequality, about the poor, about the rich, about how banking system is corrupt. I read all about climate change. I read all the scientists involved in climate change, and I was fully immersed on the left side. It filled my intellectual capacity. And I was always at ends with my father on this, who made it clear to me in no uncertain terms that he thought that, almost that I don't think he ever used the word cult, but he said you've got deep dogmas, and I used to fight him and say no, I've got science on my side, and I used to read Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris and the great and late Christopher Hitch, Daniel Dennett. I've absorbed all their theories multiple times. I read Letter to a Christian Nation and The End of Faith at least 5 times each. So I know these guys, I know their thoughts, and yet I shifted at some point, and that's what I'd like to talk to you about. So, well, thank you for listening to part 1. Part 2 is going to get into more details. I hope you enjoyed part 1. Please comment down in the bottom, especially about anything that you might be confused about what I was saying or you want to hear more about. I'm going to get into lots of details about what shifting from left to right and possibly from right to left is really about, and about the irrational aspects of it. I think you'll find if you ever go into a shift that a lot of things shift that you don't think necessarily logically have anything to do with the political shift. And I found that happening uh, quite a bit. So, and if you know me in the real world and got confused about how I shifted so abruptly, then maybe there's some answers there as well. So take care and see you soon. Bye.